And we see the people at home have also voted for SKC to win this one. 73% overall say this favorite roster will take it. Despite what happened in the February monthly finals, people are still convinced they can pull it off today. With Bull, Ems being banned out on right-hand side, Global bans Crow and Charlie on the left-hand side, and many new brawlers banned out also at the bottom. We have a huge percentage of brawlers out of the way here. Otis and Sandy, though, are double banned. Are they this good on this map, Kenny?
I certainly think they're annoying. Sandy shows up a lot on this map, and Amber in that wide open lane can definitely be a tough one to tackle. Chester coming in, I think, is a good brawler for not only vision on this map, just because the more shots he takes up, the more bells he's shooting. That means the more space he can occupy. But on top of that, it gives them an anti-tank option. So obviously that right-hand side and Rival are locking in the Janet early. This is going to be likely their mid of choice. Very safe gym carrier, can take to the skies, jetpack away, make sure that you ensure the safety of those, and also has a cheeky gadget where you can bounce away as well. So I really like that as a mid choice on this map.
Leon coming in for SKC. I feel like we're going to see a lot of Leon this weekend. The lollipop drop now with the additional speed is just bringing so much utility to his kit. So I quite like that, certainly. So just as a nice thing to have in the back pocket for the side there of SKC as well. Lily and Doug doubling down as well. Kind of interesting. Don't see too much of this, but the Doug-Janet's combo, it's really quite dirty. You know, having the hypercharge with the Doug, being able to combine it with the Janet and being able to effectively have that area splash on two brawlers at the same time is something which can absolutely decimate your opposition and be able to come back with the gems. And you know, Janet is the best escape maneuvering to have on a squad to be able to do just that.
Lily with the comeback mechanic and then some hot dogs on the way. The protein power is definitely going to come in clutch. On the other side, we now need something to address the aggression on the rival esports side. Shelly coming in here as last pick with the Chester and Shelly. They have a lot of DPS, so the Lily is definitely going to struggle there. I do like the Janet mid pick. You can either jump out of the way with the second gadget or place down the turrets to give you and your teammates some more visibility. So she is one of the best brawlers on this map. Still kind of side with the left hand side here because that damage is gonna make it so the Doug and the Lily don't really have a good matchup here.
Shelly was one that I was immediately highlighting on my cue card. Just felt like a free square there. Definitely a fun one to go shotgunning away. We'll see if the Doug and the Lily combination can be devastating enough. SKC and Rival, it's round 2. Fought in month number 1. SKC embarrassed. Swept 3-0, especially after all the off-season hype. They're the ones on the back heels now. Pressure certainly falling to them.
Well, nice aggressive movement there for the left-hand serve and the Pishu. As the Toro comes in, tapped up though, forced back to his squad for heals. He goes down though as well, so those heals not going to be coming in nearly as much as before.
Guru is certainly somebody that we're going to start seeing on this Leon, or not him in general, but I think Leon as a mid in general is certainly a viable strategy in today's day and age for Brawl Stars. This is somebody with the lollipop drop, the extra speed, it makes a huge difference. Now Udipin's going hunting though, jetpacking all the way up to that left-hand side, looking for an IP shoe. Will quickly dive away. Kuru forced to invisibility on the back spawn of this map. Will fall to the shallow end as Ryohi, not afraid to get up in the faces, and IP shoe ready to go with a shotgun blast though, will force them away. The aggro brawlers of Rival not quite making contact.
Yeah, fantastic timing on that Shelly of the Pishu. And good communication clearly on the side of SKC to ensure that these takedowns happen. The Doug is such a pest. Now's an early hypercharge here for Utapin. Not going to use the super though. Now, just in the nick of time, able to still establish that hypercharge, but not really landing that many bombs to be completely honest. And now, SKC go on the assault.
A lot of purple buttons being clicked, so SKC exhausting many resources, but it will lead to a team countdown. Udipin right-hand side, marching alongside Totoro. Hypercharged Lily Super, that's the thing that this other side has to watch out for most. Now disappearing. SKC rotating this top left-hand side. This could get scary, looking for a bounce shot from that Lily Hypercharge. Makes contact. Naipishu dragged to the Shadow Realms. Is immediately a switch over. The heist has been completed. They have to find a way to hold them off, though. Naipishu will survive. SKC have an opportunity to climb up the map. Lollipop drop for a little extra speed. Falling behind those back lines. Players off screen there, holding on to all the gems. It's going to be a close call. A butt blast going down. It will be enough to reset.
Oh, can the Pishu get out of this though? Oh, not quite the best of landings there for Utapin. Now Totoro coming back, trying to get behind the field of action. He does so quite successfully. Does get a takedown as well. That will reset the gems. But Ghost T gets them back in his pocket. Totoro not done yet. Burns down there to the poison. The gems somehow, some way, stay with SKC.
Not enough to grab them from the mid, so Kuru has to be the one killed. Yudapin trying to hold positioning for as long as possible. Ryogi there for the heals. Naipishu dive forward. Shotgun blast will force Doug away. Now they're looking for this. Oh, it is going to be close. Not enough, though. A Buck Blast will end things there. I think Rival were looking for that one little extra gem. It was going to be a close call regardless. They were forced away due to the Shelly Super. That was an intense one, though. This is something that we didn't see last month. It really did feel like Rival were running away with it the entire duration of the match, and already we've got fireworks.
That was a very, very close start. But it's still just a set still up for grabs here. That's the crazy part. Totoro straight into the realm and finds Kuru immediately coming out. Cycling as well, his super, still a danger. But now the Pishu being so low is a good target potentially if Totoro can hold back and reserve himself just a little bit still. As Ghost T now deviating away from this mid and to the left-hand side, swapping with a Pishu to get that break in the bush. Really important on a map like Double Switch to do things like that to really show up your opposition in all the right places.
Grants them immediate visibility. Doug will respawn alongside the super. The Immortal Hot Dog now running it down. Ghost T there to respond. Both of the tanky brawlers immediately eradicated as Yudapin has to force a jump away. 6 gems for Skcalalas. This is a nice lead that they've got going. Oh, and a perfectly timed bomb as well. Couldn't have rolled the dice better.
Yeah, found everyone, but that will feed some utility back over with the Doug. They're helping out here now, the hypercharge as well, so a bit of a dangerous position here for SKC, and Pishu notice has to pop the hypercharge to go with a great offense. Unbelievable to keep the gems, to survive on, to wait for his team to come back. That was everything on his back. He has got a massive backpack.
The Shelly certainly paying dividends. It's a brawler that made too much sense into this matchup. Having a shotgun brawler is excellent. This Totoro has dangerous intentions, getting sneaky, will drag Ghost T down. Yudapin makes contact, lands, tries to jump away. Kuru there to save the day. Ryogi for the heals, and now the tanky Lily will be able to walk this one down. Naipishu doing his best to try and catch up, but they're hightailing it back to spawn.
Pushing forwards now are SKC trying to make up for some lost time. They can't give up this mid. Janet has got super on the side there of Rival Esports. They can get one gem, then the escape will be also theirs. Totoro with a 9. He's playing the Lily. He doesn't want to go on the aggressive. Trying to depend now and to get something of some takedowns or some low damage straight to the hands. He had to get over to Pishu, who's been such a pest in this game.
Ooh, and now a takedown there as the 10th gem gets claimed for Rival. It's Totoro, the aggressive brawler, who has to fall back. Yudapin there to play bodyguard. Ghost T will find the first kill. They've built plenty of space to occupy the middle. They're just playing for the mine. They're not even interested in the kill. They'll tie things up, still maintain their positioning, and it will allow them to keep expanding their territory.
Yeah, that's a great reset there from SKC. Really love the way that they handled that, honestly. Hypercharge for Yudapin though. There is still time to make something happen. Totoro pretty safe and sound there, coming back into the mid. It's 12-10. The reset has got to be on the side of Rival Esports. They're just too far away at the moment. Totoro goes in, but he's low. He might burn down to the poison. He will. And the SKC made that look really quite straightforward towards the end. But it wasn't without a fair share of hassle from the side of Rival Esports.
Shelly pick, I think, was the ultimate decider there. I think Naipishu playing that brawler beautifully and just having that in your back pocket. There were plenty of reset opportunities for Rival. I don't think it was a completely abandoned strategy. I think it definitely had some validity there, just not quite enough, especially when you leave it to a 6 pick for the other team and something like Shelly is such a perfect answer. I think it's going to be really hard to expect to win that set.
Shelly, Chester versus the Lily. She didn't really have anywhere to go. And with that, Skcalalas has already won more sets than they did last month. So it's going swimmingly, Orc.
Yeah, that's a 100% improvement. Let's go. But this is what we see with teams, the best teams in the world, is that ability to come back despite the past and that result. And it was, like you said, a very, very convincing result in favour of Rival Esports last time round. You do have to reset the mental. You do have to look at what is a fresh, brand new meta and say, how can we shape this to our advantage? Like, what can we take from this to be able to really further our abilities and take away from the other team at the same time?
I really want to see those stats now. Ghost T on the Chester with the most kills, 699 DPS. I don't think we've ever seen a higher number.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's unbelievable value, and then Naipishu on top of it with 8 kills as well. I mean, it feels like it was going in their category in terms of the KD for sure. But again, sometimes it's all about those last 15 seconds. I think that's where Rival's composition showed that it had some merit. They were able to get those Lily resets with the hypercharge. Doug could walk in with the super and just respawn. respawn, get those kills as well. Definitely had some scary moments. That felt a lot closer to me than it did last month. Certainly not saying that SKC is going to run away with this by any means.
It was very back and forth, and that is probably why, Rival looked kind of good in this matchup, even though they might not have had the better comp. With Lily and Doug, they do have the comeback mechanic, but they couldn't really hold on to the gems in the end. We're now heading over to Brawl Ball. Paintball Punt is a map where you really want to focus on that mid-control arc. Which are the brawlers that come to your mind immediately when you see this map?
I like to see a Notice for me. I feel like that's kind of one of those brawlers that's just a very good, safe pair of hands. Doesn't look like it's actually banned out here as well, so it could be a good shout with the bans of the BB, the ball there as well. And his first pick, yeah, I really quite like to see it. I feel like you've got to, even regardless of that ball being banned and the BB, because you just got to have something in the eventuality of new 10 counters coming in. I'd like to see kind of like a Mo as well coming in from me. I think it's a great map for Mo and a brawler, which is kind of getting a bit of a shine now that some of the big heavy brutes are out the mix.
Otis with one of the highest win rates on this map. Chester could also have a great showing here once more. Anything with a lot of DPS to address for aggressive brawlers. BB actually banned out here as well as the Bull. He's global banned. So those two brawlers have the highest showing on the map like this one are not going to be popping off here. Another shot here from Ark. Mo is going to come in. He's that great flex brawler. You can shoot from afar. You can go in and get a goal going with a very aggressive play. So Mo definitely always a mainstay on a map like this one. Chester coming in, already mentioned him, super good into any tanks. Chester and Otis are my two top picks on this map.
I see a Kenji ban, and I'm curious if Mina gets brought in for this left-hand side as well, because I think now it has a little bit easier access to being an aggro brawler. Chester's a hard shutdown to that, though, so I think you're a little scared off by that. Very well-rounded 2-3 turn. They get the goal scorer in Mo, Christian Barrel underground, pop up, grab that ball, and super shot it while in that form. And Chester, of course, is just menacing in this meta right now. I feel like a lot of teams, the balance you have to find is this anti-tank / anti-aggro, and when you actually pull the trigger and do it yourself. SKC gonna zag away from that completely. They've got their anti-aggro in terms of Otis. Now they're going to grab Pierce, who's gonna, in the long distance, I think have favorable matchups into both of the ones shown so far on their red side.
Yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see some Pierce global bans as well, or at least escaping through the ban stages quite a lot, and the picks are really quite heavily in his favour, especially in Brawl Ball. I think it's a map which also in the wrong hands can be quite devastating, because obviously you depend on having that ammo to be able to pass the ball effectively. But these are the best players in the world for that reason. Mortis going to come in to seal the SKC comp, and it's a dangerous brawler at that.
They have a really well-rounded comp here with some aggression in the Mortis, with the long-range sniper Pierce, and then with a lot of area control in Otis. And again, Pinot Punt is a map where it's all about that mid-control. Really like the comp so far we're seeing from SKC. On the right-hand side, we have something aggressive. We have the area control. Maybe something with range could come in here. Be Leon. Poker is a brawler that shows up here quite often. Doesn't really fit into any of these two comps, so don't really expect him here. It's going to be Max instead. So we do have the support, but instead of heals, it's going to be speed.
I'm a little surprised they still go with Max here. A lot of the times when teams are facing down a Mortis, they won't necessarily pull the trigger on that. Instead, though, they might just be confident in the fact that they have a Mo and a Chester on their side to deal with this. SKC, after a devastating month 1 performance, opportunity to strike back in a big way. They have a 1-0 early lead. They're trying to get revenge against rival Esports. It was a competitive opening set, and now when I look at these two drafts, I feel like once again it has potential to be a close call as well. I don't necessarily lean heavily towards either of these sides. I think both are winnable drafts.
Let's see how things go for SKC. They definitely need the result here today. The grudge match, February monthly finals, at this very stage of the competition continues on. Already is SKC on the back foot. Rival Esports push themselves slightly forwards. Notori, realistically here, would like to get the drill, but might be able to walk this in. No, a lovely knockback with the helping hand of the PS Gadget there to be able to ensure a defense, but not over yet. Kurulo goes down, this ball coming straight back, and all 3 members there at SKC fell.
Great early possession out of Ryohi and his teammates there. It was just an immediate fallback from SKC. Naipishu tried to buy his team a little bit of space. They're going to have to play these matchups very perfectly. Now an opportunity for the blue roster. A kick over to this right-hand side. Kuru's going to be working with it as Mo and Max fall backwards. Mortis left-hand side diving in and out, trying to bait out any shots. This is a great kick away though. Now it's back to a midfield fight. Oh, and a perfectly timed super from Ryohi as well. Having the wall break there was very helpful, but now smelling blood in the water, knew the ammo had been exhausted. That's where Naipishu strikes.
Nice amount of mid-control now. Ghost T will secure Totori there, but he will be coming back with the drill. So let's see if he can use it on defense. Have a charge available to Ryohi as well. So I feel like rival Esports have got enough here, and Beautypig can get that speed out as well out of this equation. then he can bring his teammates forward as well and bring on the offensive. But Pishu knows this, wants to prematurely go in with a helping hand of the gadget, but again, it's going to be a trade, and Rival Esports hold on.
Yeah, nice use of Creature of the Night there, but just not enough to equate to much more than a kill. The bad news for the SKC side is Rival have an early lead, they've pocketed this ball, and now they have 3 supers, 2 hypercharges on top of that. Pierce just trying to apply a little pressure, use the super, a nice swing of the butts now. This could be a huge opportunity as the blue side grabs a couple. Totoro with a nice kill, Ghosty with a bounce away, Naipishu just enough to slide one in the back of the net. That was great patience and nice execution coming in from SKC.
Yeah, I really like the way that they handle that, but now the aggression comes in of Rival Esports. A huge hypercharge, Totoro coming in. This is pitch perfect for Rival Esports, and they will be able to secure it as quickly as that. I love that kind of response because the way that things were building up, SKC looked so in control, and then you turn your back, and Rival Esports just bounce back.
You can see the Mo and why it's so coveted on a mode like this, and especially a map like this where it's more wide open. You got some walls on those left and right hand sides if you want to kind of get around that for those wall peaks. But when he burrows underground, it is difficult to tackle. Obviously, he's invincible underground, but with the hypercharge especially, it's so quick and it can take over the entire side of the map. The distance it stretches is unfathomable. It's just so hard to play defense against.
Well, SKC, again, just using these bushes to their advantage, trying to build up utility. Allow Ghost T to be able to get super, and then they can start to push themselves forward in a certain position. Whilst the Mo has not got a drill, that's the best time to really ensure that you've got your utility working in your favour. So, good taps here. Ghost T continuing on there, super trying to whittle down the defence of Rival Esports.
Yeah, Ghost T just maintaining. Not pressing this, just a lot of patience. Neither side has a ton of utility to work with outside of gadgets that are going to recycle. Udipin finally getting up a super. There's a little mass lead being distributed. Is Ghost T, gonna fall there. That's a nice takedown for Udipin. Now Rival know they have the advantage. Numbers and the ball in their possession. SKC once again gonna be back on defense.
Well, Kuru, fat splatter, looking to find hypercharge. That stun is going to work out so well when you're looking into the speed of the max and what it can bring to the table. He's now in an aggressive position, pushing their Pishu and trying to continue the assault here. Slow comes down. This is a great pitch. Toro comes in. The gadget from Ghost T's not going to really do much. He stays standing. At the moment, Rival Esports are just trying to find a bit of an open goal here. And Kuru survives as the last man standing on 727 HP.
Brilliant defense from SKC, using the gadget and all those shells from Pierce. On top of that, Kuru is able to stay alive just long enough. Here comes the extra max speed once again, though. Rival, relentless, still pushing. 80 HP keeps Naipishu alive. He'll dive to this right-hand side and just try and put a little extra pressure, buy some time for the teammates to march their way forward. Ghost T does like working from the distance, though. Ryohei now charged up. And a big pickup there, too. It's still 0-0, 30 on the clock. If this gets to overtime, I don't mind this as much for SKC. I think they've got enough mid to long-range distance where they can make it work.
Pishu low here, staying alive though with some nice dukes, but he does need to heal up regardless. Ghost T big taps out to Ryohei, should be able to finalize this as well. And Utpin now just doing his best to stay alive and in the mix. He's got the hypercharge, which would be fantastic to provide to his teammates. At the moment, it's Totoro who needs super though. The hypercharge of the Chester. It's going to be a great thing on defense. Is it a bomb? The question mark is to what Ryohei's got. But here comes the hypercharge max. A great way to open space as now Rival Esports explode onto the map.
And Kuru missed a hypercharge. I believe the Seafish did not make contact. Totoro with a hypercharge super available. Bounced back. Not enough though. Rival punch one through and take the set alongside it.
There was almost a chance there for a defense with the helping hand of the Pierce gadget. You only brawled twice for knockback. So I love the way that they were so resourceful on the side of Rival Esports, so slow in their approach to ensure that there were no mistakes to be found, because even in the 1 versus 3 there, it could have been done. Defense could have been a possibility. So holding it out, waiting and baiting it really was the play there, and a good comeback.
Zeta Division versus DF, another 3-0 on the board. Luckily, this one is going to go into a set 4 at least. We have a game on our hands, and Rival is a fighting back this time around. We had 2 very good comps. I think in Double Solution we were talking about how the comp from Rival couldn't really do too much. This one was a fair game. Mo popped off a bunch of times. I really like what Totoro did there.
I think just having a goal scorer on your side, it really makes a big difference in a mode like Brawl Ball. And Mo can be such a flex because a lot of times those goal scorers are aggressive brawlers or very tanky ones. And instead, Mo's kind of this mix in between where he's a mid-range brawler, but his super is so good at spacing out and just going underground, being invincible, and popping up wherever he needs to be. Didn't show up in the kill category as much as somebody like Ryohei did, but where he did show up was in the goal scoring.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those moments where, as being behind, Rival Esports have got to come together. And I was again like similar to you coming into the draft, a bit unsold, but on the max. But it made a lot of sense, being able to evade that pierce and really provide a good cushioning for your teammates to go on the defense and then go on the offense. Chester worked out better than I expected. I think we're going to see a lot more of him as well this weekend.
Chester actually the most picked one on this map in the region, so I kind of felt like he would be banned out already. Did show up in the draft stage instead. Really like what we saw. I think what we've seen in the DPS category was that on the right-hand side, Rival kind of shared the load, pulled all the same amount of weight, and on the left-hand side it was Pierce with a lot of DPS, but it just wasn't enough to stop them.
I was really curious how Naipishu would do in that, because I think the Mortis had the hardest job, especially running into something like a Chester, and it did well, just not enough to equate to too many goals. I think just ultimately couldn't quite make the distance there. 3-1 in totals in terms of how many teams were scoring goals in that, and I think it really showed throughout that. 7 kills, Mortis was good, but not good enough to overcome something like a Chester who just popped off in the kill feed.
Looking for a Brock here for me. I think it's a great Brock pick, quite versatile. Bo going to come through. I don't mind Bo. Quite open to it, to be honest, but on a pro level, being able to evade the mines made it a little bit trickier now with the help of the Buffy, as they do land on the map faster, but still I kind of feel like it could work, it could not. I think Brock's a bit more of a safer pair of hands for me, to be perfectly honest. Eve here, Pierce definitely going to be one I've got to see picked up pretty early, in my opinion. I do like the glowy band there. Both teams really do like that kind of brawler. I think Angelo as well here. Buster could be an option too. Bell. There's definitely some choices still here.
Out in the Open is one of these maps where you really only have one lane on the right-hand side. On the left side, you could play an Angelo and Eve, anything that can walk over water, or you open up the map. That's what Ark is referring to with the Brock. Bo technically can do the same, of course, with his bow mines down the lane. Brock can do it immediately from the start. Ollie on the left-hand side, a brawler we don't see too often here, honestly, would be a great pairing together with the Gus, for example, just something to make sure he can even come in close and comfy with his opponents. Gus, maybe also a Byron Kane.
Yeah, I was thinking about what sharpshooter they would go with. Gus was one that came to mind just because popular on this map. Also a shield allowed for Ollie. I was kind of curious to see if Brock comes through there, because a lot of times teams will pair Brock with Ollie, maybe not necessarily on this map, but because they want to be in control of the wall break, they want to leave the walls up, they'll go with something like Rocket Laces where they can make use of it and then kind of take away that choice, especially on a map like Out in the Open. Being able to get to mid a little quicker makes sense, but instead Angelo can traverse over that water, so now I fully anticipate that if they wanted to take a Brock, they're definitely not going for wall break.
Yeah, I'm open to it for sure. I quite like where things are shaping up to be. Yeah, I mean, you really have to take it off the table at that point, really, because in the hands of the SKC, it would have been much difficult to make this kind of comp work. So, I like where things are heading. Let's see. I still think Brock would be very viable here to get into the map quickly and just allow yourselves that kind of breathing position here. I think Artie as well could definitely be a brawler which could come in under the circumstances here. I feel like Ali has a place, could cause some problems, but again with the helping hand of Ollie, as long as that player on the side there of SKC is available and ready to hand to defend against it, it could be shut down quite easily. Yeah, exactly, Artie. I think it's a safe bet. I think Brock or Artie was where my mind was at.
They don't really have any aggression on the right-hand side. I definitely go with you here, Ali, maybe also Mina, if they wanted to bring in some aggression. The RT just makes sure that they have a good brawler for the long run. Once the smoke's coming in from the side, that RT is definitely going to do a good job with his super available. Left-hand side, well-rounded. Again, I would like to see some support for that Ollie. Gus already taken away. Leaves the Byron still open. Jae-Young would be a great pick here, but he's at banned out, so they're going to go with something completely different. Area control here with the Squeak. And Kenny, it's not a bad brawler into 3 long-ranged options on the right-hand side. Squeak also ensures that they have a good matchup in the long run. When Squeak has ult available and the field is getting smaller, Squeak is going to do well.
Two super different compositions. I mean, the right-hand side very clearly going with the ranged fight. RT, somebody in the close distance as well, will drop the static, be able to grab those kills towards the later stages of the game. But on the left, I think the early squeak gadgets are something that I'm going to be looking out for. How will Ollie fare in this long-range fight? Something that definitely doesn't do as well, but towards those in-games, certainly a factor. The hypnosis has to be a factor. And Ghost T, operating on this left-hand side, going to work his way up, working reverse over water, one of the unique factors about him, as Kuru's going to cut off. That's what I was looking out for. One of these gadgets that they're going to be running is the one that's slowing effect from Squeak. Buys them instant access to the mid. Now they can walk this up, and this puts Naipishu in a perfect place. There's an indestructible wall right here. He can try and charge up his super, get a few tags, and in the long run of the game, do better.
Yeah, I think Squeak here is very slept on as a brawler pick, honestly. But let's see what Rival Esports can do to be able to get out of this position. Super Totem goes down on the bow. Ooh, some good connections as well there from Kuro. Super Totem, of course, now has a slightly wider radius with the helping hand of the Buffy, so you know, that's kind of what you want to see on the combination with the RT as well. Building up towards that hypercharge as quickly as you possibly can, because in this position now, the gas closing in, you've got to be able to have an escape.
Desperation jump right there on the launch pad, met by SKC. Just brutal stuff as Ryohi's now going to be stuffed into a corner as well. Even uses the super too. I think that's a bold call because all that really accomplished was 0 kills and a lot of grass being revealed. That was not good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I was literally saying about RT having an escape, but that was not the escape I was looking to see. You've got to get that hypercharge, and that can open up the space. But with this early outset, this is where you want to see Rival Esports just trying to hold their own better, and already they've slipped into their old ways. They've gone back into the spawn, and Ryohi already struggling on that top left.
Impactful supers available for SKC as well, as Ghost T's able to force his way forward. Now Ollie jumping over the wall. Oh, Ryohi, an easy victim for him to get through. Rival has a super into Toro, but of course, if he drops the static, they're going to be able to get easy tags to the wall with Squeak. This seems like a pretty checkmated situation. SKC with a huge advantage, and now Udapin is gone as well. Just an RT left. This is a clean game one coming out of the blue side. A really back and forth. The opening set was such a close call across the board. Set 2 leaned a little more towards Rival, and now we're just seeing SKC clean house. I feel like this is going to be tough to make adjustments from because I really like this combination, the Squeak gadget to build you some early space, put Ollie against that wall, stuff the other team in their spawn, and now they can't move. Ollie can charge super. Easy hypnosis for a win.
Let's see, Ghost T not finding too much here, and as long as Rival Esports can try to evade him along the way by pushing forwards, and they can definitely have a better start, and Naipishu marked up on the right-hand side, go down. So I'd imagine not running hacks then on the side of the RT, because that would be a simple, straightforward kill as it were. Now, SKC starting to really collect themselves better. But as quickly as that, Rival Esports back in that spawn side yet again. That's exactly where SKC want them.
RT has a free super, but hasn't really been able to use it because they can't escape the fog. He's going to have to dive towards this launch pad once again, has no angle on Naipishu. Now SKC forcing the left-hand side. This is where he makes a launch, but it's going to be a sacrifice for Gus. So either Totoro's going to have to come in clutch here, find a kill on Kuru, or they're going to be in trouble. Instead, it's Kuru landing a ton of shots. The little Squeak being a high DPS brawler. Totoro left alone once again. This is a disaster. Rival Esports showing no signs of life in this set. He might even have to just force a kill to try and charge up supers and things like that. Instead, it's Naipishu grabbing one of his own. No good. I mean, Rival Esports have to find a way to charge some supers, get some kills, or at least move out a spawn for crying out loud.
Yeah, someone needs to tell Rival Esports that jump pad is not working for them. The second time they've just used it and gone straight down. Nice bait of the mines there by Naipishu. 2 more still remain. And we're going to find them yet again. The hypercharge of this RT. That is what I'm now looking for. This could be a time to use the jump pad, actually. As long as the Toro doesn't go down immediately, he could get behind the field of action. But I feel like SKC are really going to be well aware to it and trying to shut it down early. But he has got to use his utility. They cannot afford to lose this round.
There's nothing wrong with flanking, but because you're using a launch pad, you can literally see them from a mile away climbing across the map here. So Udapin on the left-hand side, going to have to be able to fight. Ghost T has a hypercharge available, looking to get a piercing shot here as Ryohi just juggling left and right. Has nowhere to walk. Naipishu unfazed with 10,000 HP is going to be a menace towards these in-games.
Toro did not use hypercharge straight away. Now using it and staying alive as well. Naipishu's so low, but these shots have got to land to secure him. Kuru is there for the body blocking, and Naipishu is now healed. A missed opportunity there for Rival Esports.
Oh, and now a hypercharge for Kuru in the 2v2 as the bow mines go down. They're going to have to dance their way around this as Naipishu operates in the open space. Triggering one. Oh, that was no good. I think they triggered all 3 of those, and it caused them an insta-kill. I mean, there weren't a lot of spaces to walk, but I know the right side was definitely the wrong way.
Well, well, as a result of that, Rio, he has got more mines and a hypercharge now as well. And this is the best chance that Rival have had so far to be able to make something of this. Now pushing themselves forward with the help of the additional speed, and now they push just 4 straight into the mines! Goes down as Rival Esports capitalize.
Bow mines are tough for all shapes and sizes of Brawl Stars players, and right now, Rival Esports, it's the one thing keeping them in this set. 2v2 once again, Angelo and Squeak, long range. As Satoru operates once again in a little grassy area right around here. Ghost T looking to trigger these mines, makes a mistake. Thankfully for him, nobody there to follow up shots at all. Just a standstill right now as Satoru holds on to this super.
Yeah, Satoru's in a good spot, and Kuru knows it, trying to get the pinch between himself there and Ghost T. And now the helping hand of these kills from Ghost T. Satoru's got to go in on the aggressive, and is going to get tapped down slowly but surely. A great connection there from Kuru as well. Might seal this demise down to 1,000 HP, and it's the gas that seals it.
Beautiful play. Ghost T taking the launch pad to his advantage, and of course at that moment couldn't move a muscle. Kuru just put his teammate in a dangerous spot though. Mines go down. Ryohi trying to dance around this, can't quite do so. SKC narrowly escaped the set, certainly a little closer in that game number 2 than we thought it was going to be, but Rival Esports showing a little bit more life. That was a tough strategy overall, though I think SKC just had the draft.
Maybe. Honestly, Ghost T saved that one for me. They really struggled with the bow mines. Bow Mines MVP for me here, got more kills than anyone else. And then Ghost T with the jump pad in the end, winning the 1v2 basically. Really well played by him. Yeah, I didn't love what I saw from either of those two teams in this set, if I'm completely honest, Dark.
Especially, as I said, coming into the match, you know, I kind of expect, you know, players at this caliber to be able to dodge that, to be able to communicate that, to not fall for those traps. And, you know, it's a brawler which I would kind of have myself on the back foot with in regards to the meta currently, as to whether we're going to see much of it, whether we're going to see, you know, as a new buffy brawler into the mix, you kind of always have to consider how they're going to affect things. And I've been in two minds about it. I still like playing bow personally, and I do get quite good results with it, but you'd expect a bit more of a communication around where those mines are, and I think too much value was gained off the back of them.
I think so too. I mean, it's safe to say that the bow mines certainly came through, especially in that game number 2. You'll see it in Ryohi's stat line as well. 4 kills for him, easily the most on his team. I think the left-hand side just had a little more variety in their composition. I just think they had an initial jump with the Squeak gadget and then combining it with getting Ollie in position. That's why you're seeing them just desperately throw down bow mines in their grass. They were willing to reveal the positioning because it was just Ollie taking it every single time anyways. They had no real chance at getting to that spot. Instead, it's going to be to their demise. 7 kills for Ghost T. What a sharpshooter there as well. Excellent Angelo work. 80
DPS for the Ollie. We kind of said that he probably doesn't get as much value on a map like this one. You really want to pick those late ranged brawlers. In the end, it worked out for the team because Ghost T was just popping off. For me, really, Ghost T did a super well game and he won it for Skcalalas. They're now 2-1 up ahead. We're now heading into a new map. We haven't seen it today yet. Hot Zone Open Business. Once more, a very open map. We might see some Poco here coming out of them. Other than that, it's just bull all over again. Chester Fink still has some showings here, but you want to go with those buffy brawlers.
Wouldn't mind seeing a Draco here myself. It's kind of drifted away, but could certainly be on the cards. I think as well, I like the Ruffs ban and the Poker ban on the side there of Rival Esports. Brawl, cleverly banned as we know. Fink's going to come through. Great shout, Sonny. Love that. And that's also a very high win rate brawler for them too. I think the Pierce as well could be a nice combination if they want to be able to bring that particular brawler in. Glowy banned. It seems like, despite our attempts to see him, he's not really showing up much today.
Glowy, I think, especially on this map and especially in this mode, is a must-ban kind of situation, especially since Glowy escapes the global bans. That means you just have to deal with them more on each individual map, and this is certainly one of them. Just the ability to kind of be a mainstay and stick around, be able to heal teammates while also in that open space, get damage onto enemies. It's such a powerful force. I am a little bit surprised to see the Draco, despite the Lu on the other end. It seems they're unafraid to run this. I think if you're playing open business and you're the right-hand side staring down a Draco, you have to either get super anti-tanky or you got to start finding some wall break.
Kind of agree with that. However, Finks and Draco were the two brawlers Archemy shout out, and both of them picked up immediately.
Watch them lose now, she said.
On the right-hand side, I still expect the Chester to come out here. Maybe Otis. Anything else to address this Draco? Yes, with the Lu, they already have a really good brawler against them. Cordelius, of course, also one of those tanky counters. Really like him here. Now, last pick. Maybe they need a bit more range. Throwers usually do quite well on the map like this one too. Maybe not into Draco. They're going to go with aggression themselves.
Yeah, I like it. The Cordelius is a great pick, but it's going to be working overtime. That's my only concern, and especially in a map like this, wall break could be a possibility if they want to go for it on the side of SKC. I like the way that things are shaping up, though. There's no heal, though. They might want to bring something to be able to back up that Draco with for me. No, going to go with the ability just to dash around and cause some issues. Stu, certainly a very mechanical brawler and one that's very difficult to hit, and going to be struggling, I think, on the side of the Kenji to really close the gap for that reason. But I don't know if I'm a massive fan of it. I think that the speed zone that it is kind of like its best attribute in the current meta, really.
I think so too, and I just think being able to shred through the enemies is my main concern as well. I think it's going to be very matchup dependent, depending on which lane they kind of draw off the rip on the other side. SKC taking advantage now as we approach set number 4. Last month, couldn't even muster a single one against the same rival esports squad. Now an opportunity to redeem themselves, to live up to the hype that they received in the offseason. It's Kuru starting off in the middle as Sphinx. That's to be expected. Ghost T, though, no speed zone that we've seen so far, which could allude that they're going for wall break.
Nice. That makes a lot of sense. And is, again, going to make it tougher for Cordelius. Literally saying it before that brawler came through, is that if they break, then the Cordelius has to really start to work overtime. So now, their Pishu, trying not to feed into Yupin too much, who has already got super immediately into the round. That's what I love to see, that Cordelius is doing exactly what it needs to do. And a good draft then rival esports.
SKC with not a great start, now an opportunity to make a little bit of a comeback as that Lu super slowly trickles onto the field due to Finks' little super there, slowing down time. It's going to be Kenji dealing with this top right-hand side as Stu skates away. Udapin once again putting in that work like you alluded to. Cordelius is going to be glued to that Draco lane while Totoro moves around in the middle space. Great kill coming out of Ryohi. Rival Esports, smooth sailing so far.
Yeah, absolutely cooking. Some hypercharges too. Totoro, if you just get super, we'll be able to have that instantaneous stun. And now, hypercharge from Yupin. That's slow, it's painful onto the Pishu, who will fall down here as well. As Isthi staying on the zone. Body blocking there is available for Ghost T to keep Kuru in the mix. They are starting to bring this back, slowly but surely. Yupin doesn't fall here, miss big miss shots from Ghost T. You can't make those mistakes when you're behind.
Yeah, that's tough, and Udapin doesn't even die, so now he's recharging a super off the backs of this as well, just being in the same space as them. You can see the little cylinder around him. Naipishu forced to use Hypercharge, push them away. Ghost T will do the exact same. Udapin once again dragging him down. Goner at that point. SKC, despite all these little mistakes here, do have an opportunity. They've got complete control of the mid. Now it is wide open. This is going to make things really difficult for Kenji and Cordelius.
Yeah, Ghost T now starting to work things a little bit better, but they have given up some of the positioning power into this bit. Yupin goes in straight out though, and this is going to put pressure here on Ryohi and Totoro. Ryohi now falls, and Totoro has got to be forced back now. SKC bringing back the objective, still behind by just a little bit here by 14%, but now really started to gain their stride.
SKC is certainly in this one right now. It's a small favor towards rival esports as the Lu super goes down. Naipishu skating, trying to breathe fire onto the enemy side, but the ice overpowering Ryohi, now diving in with the sword as well. Udapin will clean up on the bottom side of the map, and rival esports will grab this opening game. Despite having an early lead, SKC still managed to come back. I think if they can get these wall breaks down earlier, allow Stu to climb the map sooner, they've got a real chance at the set.
Yeah, certainly now that I've seen the wall break as well, they can really start to shape the map and take away what this Cordelius is bringing on the side there of rival esports. So I think one thing I've got to say that regardless is the fact that SKC have really come in prepared this month. I mean, this is a different SKC from what we saw, and they've brought the fight back to rival esports in the way they had to, considering that they got swept by this very team last month.
This is closer to the SKC that I expected to see. A lot of talent on the field. The drafts are certainly showing up a lot better this month. The strategy coming through is now an ice rink goes down for rival Naipishu. Once he pops out of here, going to be slowed down, doing his best to kind of skate away before this goes down. There he is, top side, moving his way around it. Wow, that is such a slow thing. I always forget how Kenji super interacts with that.
So devastating. And just trickling down the clock, the time. it's all things that you want to have in your kit when you've got Finks doing things like that. And yeah, he's coming in, trying to get this damage onto the issue. There is the last stand yet again. He comes out on top. Absolutely disgusting. He's going to bring Kuru into the realm here. But so far, a very, very close affair here as SKC is starting to be able to even out the match 44 apiece.
This time, Rival Esports won't run away with the early lead. Ghost T can start breaking up the map, gets the easy takedown to Cordelius. This is where Stu is going to shine. The wall break, and then in these 1v1 interactions with somebody like Lou, where he can dash around with a super, Cordelius, who's in the short range, that's where Stu starts to shine. Really starting to show its worth here as the Tsushimi Slash won't make any contact. Ghost T once again with another kill. SKC starting to run away with it.
Ghost T going on the super aggressive here and does find Totoris, the perfect person to take care of as the freeze is really starting to affect the issue. It'll start to deplete now as well. Kuru with shots round the wall. Beautiful stuff. Absolutely nowhere for them to go. As now, can SKC be able to secure it? 10% left now. The hyper shot from Pin does connect there. Onto the issue. It's down to Kuru and Ghost T to be able to hold the fort. And they get it done. It's SKC moving on then to a match point position.
Really good bounce back from them. I think just not getting carried away with the opening. Can't afford to have team wipes, and that's something you saw in game number 1. Once they lost all 3 of those brawler members, Cordelius was plaguing their back spawn, could use Shadow Realms to remove 1 brawler at a time. Really well done, but Rival Esports now have to deal with the wall break that is incoming. Stu was a little more calculated this time, took out that top right-hand side where Cordelius is currently standing, and then kind of did what he needed to do throughout the rest of the game. Instantly going to take down this left-hand side as Ryoki feeds a super, a kill early. SKC, despite not having an advantage in the percentage, will in numbers. I think they're going to be able to climb back here.
Yeah, Ghost T kind of feeding it a bit into Pin there, but it shouldn't be a problem as long as his teammates can stick around on this zone. Both sides really just trying to see each other out here. It's been weak on the bottom right-hand side, has to heal up as now Kuru just find Rio here on that left-hand side and stays on the zone. Nothing that Totori can really do here, but just need to find a freeze and build some space for his team. Is really starting to dwindle now for Rival Esports.
Felt like much more of a fair fight. Each side really taking a little bit of space instead of one running away with the early lead as Udapin. It's a nice tag to the Shadow Realm. Pishu without that dragon form can't really make up the distance. Udapin, I think they're getting the comms out. Kuru's going to rotate to this right-hand side and jump away there with the bunny hop. Ryoki up in the air slowly but surely, and it's an easy dodge for SKC. They line up the shots, grab the easy frag.
Now SKC in full control, and now staying on the zone. He's been into the realm now. He's going to come out on low HP, which could be a terrible time for him to do so as well. SKC at 5% now are about to get it done, and what a difference a month makes. Last month, it was doom and gloom against this very team, and they finally get their revenge in March.
Elated faces across the board, and well-deserved as well. I mean, after falling flat in month number 1, 0-3 against the same squad, it's nice to see them respond with a win of their own. Now this is officially a rivalry. It's 1-1 in the series, hoping we get a rubber match in a future month.
I'm kind of hoping for them to face off again in the next monthly final. Both of those teams technically still have a chance to make it to Brawl Cup if they make it far enough in the grand finals twice. So let's see who is going to take it in at the end. SKC versus Rival. As you said, now we have a rivalry here where both of them has won once each. SKC now also has the chance to beat Zeta Division in February.